Hello everyone. Today we will discuss quarterly exam questions revision. First question, very short answers. What is cephalization? What is cephalization? What is cephalization? So what is cephalization means the concentration of nerve cells and sensory cells present on the anterior side. The concentration of nerve cells and sensory cells. The concentration of nerve cells and sensory cells. The concentration of nerve cells and sensory cells present on anterior side. Present on anterior side. Present on anterior side is called as cephalization. The concentration of nerve cells and sensory cells present on anterior side. So they are called as cephalization. Next one, how is it useful? How is it useful in processors? Means, so the animals can sense. The animals can sense change the environment and quickly responds. The animals sense changes in environment and quickly responds. So they are the first question. What is cephalization? How is it useful to the processors? Answer, cephalization means the concentration of nerve cells and sensory cells present on anterior end of the animals, anterior end of the body. So they are called as cephalization. Next question, how is it useful? So the animals can sense changes into the environment and quickly responds. So they are called as cephalization. Next one, distinguish between the exocrine and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Exocrine gland. So the exocrine gland means these contain a ducts. These glands contain ducts. These glands contain ducts. So they are secretion from the milk, hormones. They are secreting from the mucus, saliva, milk secretes. It secretes mucus, saliva, milk and digestive glands. Digestive enzymes. Example, mammary glands and pancreas. Mammary glands and pancreas. So that is example of the exocrine gland. Exocrine gland means these glands contain ducts. So it secretes from the mucus, saliva, milk and digestive enzymes. Example glands, mammary gland and pancreas. Next one, endocrine glands. Endocrine glands. So the endocrine gland means so these are the ductless glands. These are ductless glands. These are ductless glands. Endocrine gland means, so these are the ductless glands. These are the ductless glands. Next one, it secretes hormones. It secretes hormones. Hormones. It secretes hormones. It's directly released into the blood. Directly released into the blood. Directly released into the blood. Blood transfer to the target organs. Blood transfer target organs or target places. The blood transfer to the target organs or target places. Example, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal gland. So they are the examples of the endocrine gland. So exocrine gland means these are the duct glands. Exocrine gland means duct glands. They are secreting from the mucus, saliva, milk and digestive enzymes. Example, mammary glands and pancreas. Exocrine gland means they are the ductless glands. It secretes hormones directly released into the blood. So the blood transfer to the target organs or target places. Next one, example, pituitary gland and endocrine gland. Next question, distinguish between the tendon and ligament. Tendon and ligament. Tendon means, so they are the attachments of the attaches skeletal muscle to bone. Tendon means attach a skeletal muscle to bone. Attach skeletal muscle to bone. Next one, ligament. Attach one bone to another bone. One bone to another bone. So they are the tendon and ligament. Tendon means, so they are the attachment of the skeletal muscle to bone. The attachment is called as tendon. Ligament means one bone attached to the another bone. So they are called as ligament. Attaches one bone to another bone. So they are the tendon and ligament. Next one, distinguish between the brown fat and white fat. Brown fat and white fat. Brown fat. Question, distinguish between the brown fat and white fat. First one, brown fat. It has a rich blood supply and metabolically active. Brown fat means it has a rich blood supply. And metabolically active. So that it has a rich blood supply and metabolically active. It is found in the fetus and newly born baby. It is found in It is found in fetus and newly born baby. Newly born baby. It is present in the newly born baby. So brown fat means it has a rich blood supply. It has rich blood supply and metabolically active. Rich blood supply means so the oxygenated blood is coming and nutrition is presenting. So they are metabolically active. It is presenting in the new fetus and newborn baby. Fetus and newborn baby. Next one, white fat. Next one, white fat. Next one, white fat. So white fat means it has less blood supply. It has less blood supply it has a less blood supply and it has less blood supply and metabolically less active. Metabolically less active. It has less blood supply and metabolically less active. It is present in the adults. It is found in adults. It is found in adults. So they are the brown fat and white fat. Brown fat means so it is rich blood supply and metabolically active. It is present in the, it is found in the fetus and newly born babies. Next one, white fat. It has a less blood supply and metabolically less active. It is present in the adults. Next question. Cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. Cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. Why? Sorry. Another question. What is hematocrit value? Another question. First question D. Second question A. Second question A. First question D. First question D. What is hematocrit value? What is hematocrit value? What is hematocrit value? Means the percentage of blood. The percentage of blood occupied by the RBC count. The percentage of blood. The percentage of total blood volume occupied by RBC. The percentage of total blood volume. Hematocrit value. Hematocrit value. Hematocrit value means the percentage of total blood volume. The percentage of total blood volume occupied by RBC. Occupied by RBC. Occupied by RBC is called as hematocrit value. Hematocrit value means the percentage of total blood volume is occupied by RBC is called as hematocrit value. The percentage of total blood volume is occupied by RBC is called as hematocrit value. Next one. Cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. Justify. Cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. Justify. Next 2B. Cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. Justify. Because of the cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue due to the presence of many mitochondria. Presence of many mitochondria high myoglobin and rich blood supply. Rich blood supply means many mitochondria. Cardiac muscle contain many mitochondria. Many mitochondria and many myoglobins. Many mitochondria, high myoglobin and rich blood supply rich blood supply. So the cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. The cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. Why? Because of the cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue because of it contain many mitochondria. High myoglobin and rich blood supply. So mitochondria function, they are production of ATP. So the rich blood supply, they are contain nutrition and oxygen. So they are utilization of the mitochondria, releasing more energy. So the cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. Once the cardiac muscle is fatigued, the person will be die. So they are the cardiac muscle is highly resistant to fatigue. Next one, holocrine gland and apocrine gland. Next question 2C. Holocrine gland. Holocrine gland means the entire cell disintegrates, they releasing from the secretions. Entire cell disintegrates to release the secretory product. Example, sebaceous gland. Entire cell disintegrates. Entire cell disintegrates. Entire cell disintegrate, releasing to secretory product. Releasing secretory product is called as holocrine gland. Holocrine gland means entire cell disintegrate, they releasing to the secretory product. Releasing a secretory product is called as holocrine gland. Example, sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland. The entire cell disintegrate, releasing to the secretory product is called as sebaceous gland. So example, sebaceous gland, holocrine gland. Next one, apocrine gland. Apocrine gland means apical part of the cell is cut off. Apical part of the cell is cut off. Apical part of cell is cut off and releasing to the cut off, release to secretory product. The apical part of the cell, they cut off and releasing to the secretory product. Secretory product. Example, mammary glands. Example, mammary gland. So the apical part of the cell cut off and releasing to the secretory product. So they are called as mammary gland. Example, mammary gland. Next one, what are the retroperitoneal organs? 2D. Next question, 2D. What are the retroperitoneal organs? Retroperitoneal organs. The organs covered by the partial peritoneum only on the ventral side. The organs covered by the partial peritoneum. The organs covered by partial peritoneum on the ventral side only. The ventral side only. So these organs are called as retroperitoneal organs. Retroperitoneal organ means the organs covered by the partial peritoneum only on the ventral side. Partial peritoneum covered by the only ventral side. So the organs are called as retroperitoneal organs. Example, kidneys, mammalian kidneys. Example, kidneys. Example, kidney. So they are the retroperitoneal organs. Next question. 3A. Text question 3A. Next question 3A. What are the functions of canal system of sponges? What are the functions of canal system of sponges? Canal system of sponges. What are the functions of canal system of sponges? The canal system of sponges helps. The canal system of sponges functions the collection of food materials. First one, collection of food materials. Collection of food materials. Collection of food materials and respiration function. Collection of food materials and exchange of respiratory gases. Exchange of respiratory gases. Exchange of respiratory gases and removal of waste material. Removal of waste materials. Removal of waste material. So they are the canal system of sponges. The functions of canal system. So they are helps from the removal of waste materials and the exchange of gases and collection of food materials. So they are the functions of the sponges canal system. Next one, what is botryoidal tissue? Next question 3B, botryoidal tissue. Botryoidal tissue. So it is a excretory tissue. It is a excretory tissue filling the coelom of leeches. It is a excretory tissue filling the coelom of leeches. Filling the coelom of leeches. Filling the coelom of leeches. It looks like a bunch of grapes. It looks like a bunch of grapes. It looks like a bunch of grapes. Botryoidal tissue. Botryoidal tissue means it is a excretory tissue. Botryoidal tissue means it is a excretory tissue. Next one, it is tissue filling the coelom of leeches. Filling the coelom of leeches. It looks like a bunch of grapes. It looks like a bunch of grapes. Next question. Which arthropod is called as a living fossil? Which arthropod is called as living fossil and which are the respiratory organs? 3C. Which arthropod is called as living fossil? So the living fossil means Limulus is a living fossil. Limulus is a living fossil. The respiratory organs are book gills. Respiratory organs are book gills. living fossil. 3C, living fossil. Living fossil means limulus is a living fossil. Limulus is a living fossil. Limulus is a living fossil. Respiratory organs. Respiratory organs, the limulus is respiratory organs, book gills. Respiratory organs, book gills. Respiratory organs, book gills. Living fossil. Limulus is a living fossil. Respiratory organs are book gills. Next, last question. 3D. Very short answers. Last question. Ampids and plasmids. Ampids. Ampids. So the ampids means, so they are the chemoreceptors. Chemoreceptors which are the cuticular pits. Chemoreceptors cuticles of the pits on the cuticular pits on the lips. Cuticular pits on the lips surrounding the mouth. Surrounding the mouth. So the chemoreceptors, so they are cuticular pits on the lips surrounding the mouth in nematodes. Mouth in nematodes. In nematodes. So they are the ampids. Next one, plasmids. Next one, plasmids. So the plasmid means, so they are the glandulosensory structures present on the parasitic nematodes. Glandulosensory structures in the parasitic nematodes. Glandulosensory structures. Glandulosensory structures. It is a glandulosensory structures of the parasitic in the parasitic nematodes. It is present in the parasitic nematodes. Ampids means the chemoreceptors, so they are cuticular pits on the lips surrounding the mouth of the nematodes. Next one, plasmid means glandulosensory structures of the in the parasitic nematodes. So they are the ampids and plasmids. Next, short answer we will discuss next class.